about when I'd be walking in. I was early today. Mid-year resolution? No, just got out of the office when I was planning to. That's all. That's 15 minutes later. Get the animals away. Went to the bathroom. I thought I was going to the restroom, so didn't go back after that. Just went out the door.
So I'm going to call to order the meeting of the CDTA Board of Directors. It's 12 noon for the September 11th, 2019 meeting. Since we don't quite have a quorum, but we expect that we will, we're going to kind of jump around a little bit on the agenda with some items that don't require a vote of the board. First thing I want to do is introduce Pat Lance, who's our newest board member, approved by the State Senate back in June, I think. And Pat is a former CDTA employee for many years. And Pat and I actually met through youth hockey when our sons were on the same team about 20 years ago. So we ran into each other on an elevator in Jacksonville, Florida a couple of weeks ago.
I knew him, but he didn't.
I knew who you were.
Just
shocked more than anything else. But welcome to the board. I don't know if you want to make any other comments.
No, I look forward to working with everybody, bringing a different perspective to the board, and knowing most of you, and a lot of you were my bosses over the years. And so, it was a good 30 years, So, no, I just look forward to working with everybody, and hopefully it goes good.
Great. Well, welcome aboard.
Just one more note, if I could, to
Sure.
plug Pat, but Pat is also the chair of the CDTA ATU pension plan. So Pat's got some of the board members, because the trustees are 3 company and 3 union. So there's 2 board members from our board who Pat has known because of the work on pensions as well. So
you've been in this room many times.
Yeah.
Not sitting on that side, though.
Yeah,
It's usually on this side.
The meetings are a little bit more colorful too. Not on camera too.
I won't plug him, but he's been involved in organizations for a long time. His family, Pat and his family, basically are the sort of the guiders of Lansingburg, Little League, youth hockey. He's not a guy who stands in the background. So we're really happy to have Pat on board.
Thank you. So we're going to jump to the recognition and update portion of the agenda at this time.
Well, we have a stack of people. I think if we had everyone who was scheduled for September, we would have had, I think, 10 people to recognize. We broke it up a little bit, so we're going to stagger them over the next couple of months. But as we all know, this is the fun part of the agenda, where Jamie and I and the rest of the board get to acknowledge the superstars, the people who do the work here at CDTA day in and day out. First up, Mike Miller. So before joining CDTA, Mike worked for the state. He decided time for a better opportunity. So you don't hear that very often in the Albany area. Everybody says the state is the better opportunity, but Mike got it right. CDTA was the better opportunity. Raised in Albany, and remember seeing CDTA around town and saying, they do a pretty good job. I wonder if maybe someday I could be one of them. And that happened for him in 1999. He joined our team and started driving for us and serving customers. If you're paying attention to these meetings and you know the years, so 1999, what do you think Mike started? Mike was driving in Star, and Mike was a part-timer. That was basically sort of the pathway in the late 90s and early 2000s. And then moved over to fixed route service in Albany and has been driving in Albany ever since. Currently drives at number 6 2nd Avenue. We like to talk about where those bus routes go on Scotland Avenue. 2nd Avenue. Careful here, this gets confusing. Second Avenue services New Scotland Avenue up around St. Peter's Hospital, Whitehall Road, and then back to Second Avenue in Albany and into downtown. But number 10, I can do this without looking at notes. Number 10, Western Avenue, is what it says it is. It goes up and down Western Avenue, downtown, University at Albany, Stuyvesant Plaza, I can get that right, and Cross Gates Mall. One of our busiest routes, right? Both of those are real busy. Lots of customers. Mike says the biggest change he's seen in his 20 years is the quality of the buses. They've gotten better. They're obviously more technical. We're going to talk later on about they're now, some of them, electric powered. Working for CDTA has allowed Mike to combine his love of driving with his love of people. This is the first. Mike said his job as a bus operator has helped him to develop better communication skills on the job and at home. Really? My wife says the exact opposite. She said, she says you come home and you think you're at work. The company's also provided a stable work environment and allowed Mike to provide for he plans to continue here for a while. Retirement is not in the picture, and we're very, very happy about that. Mike, here's hoping for another 20 years. Thank you. Lauren Candide, another 20 years. Come on. Pearl. I'll begin with 2 here. Which one do you want me to use? Just Pearl there, okay. So this is going to require a little bit of detail here. Access Transit Schedule. You may or may not know that there's a subsidiary of the company called Access Transit. It handles the Medicare transportation service and the senior service transportation in the county of Albany. We broker the service to Albany County, and we are the conduit between the customer and the providers. It's a little bit like STAR, but they're all qualified by the government for this service. And Lauren has spent her whole career doing things related to what goes on at Access. She heard about CDTA, as many of our employees do, through the family grapevine, right? At the time, her now sister-in-law worked as assistant manager of Access Transit, well, I remember that, Access Transit, and said, hey, they need call takers. Before Lauren came to CDTA, she worked in customer service, she worked in retail, and she has a bachelor's in social work from Wheelock College. That degree helps her a lot because a lot of the people we deal with are people with special needs or people that with BSW degree are trained to understand and to help. But as I said, she's been with Access for 20 years. I got a long list of the different jobs that she's done. She was a call taker, a customer service and scheduler. For a while, she was the fair. I remember when you were the fair coordinator. She handled all the fair products and had people understand which ones to use. And now works real closely with Albany County on this latest initiative. Lauren has stuck with us, she says, because when she started, she was a new mom. She had a 9-month-old son, and we were able to provide the flexibility and the work environment that she needed to raise her family. By the way, he's 21 now? Or 20?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
He'll be
21.
21.
So he's, be careful. Be careful. She's filled with pride about her job, about Access, about CDTA. She's one of the good ones. You know, she lives and breathes it. It's on her sleeve. She says that time has flown by. She loves what she does. She loves the clients she works with, and she likes coming to work every day. It doesn't get any better than that. In her spare time, she works for Susan G. Komen, volunteers, the Alzheimer's Association, and a bunch of other nonprofits, as well as raising her family still. She's been married to her husband, Adam, for 24 years. She has a son who will be turning 21 in 2 weeks, and another that will soon be 18. God, you got all those 18 and 21. Those are scary years. Retirement, not anytime soon. There's 2 for us. So it's great that we know that Lauren, you're gonna be around for another 20. Come on, say yes. Congratulations. All right, we got one of the CDTA favorites. This guy's enthusiasm is contagious. Boom, boom. So Boone discovered CDTA when he saw an advertisement on one of our shelters that we were looking for help. Before coming to CDTA, Boone drove trucks, but the steady work that we offer was what he desired, so he made the switch from trucks to buses. He started out at Star on weekends. It was either part-time on weekends, before moving to the Schenectady division to drive fixed-route buses. So these are Boone's words. He loves Schenectady, Jackie. Jay, he loves Schenectady.
Someday.
He loves to learn and soak up the knowledge of his coworkers. It's a really tight-knit group in Schenectady. Joe Landy is the superintendent there now. I moved from Albany. Gary Guy, longtime superintendent. I think part of it is the work that those guys do to make it a tight-knit group. They look out for everybody and support each other. Boone's first impression of our employees was that everyone was helpful and accommodating. He remembers learning about so many different cultures and customs upon his arrival, and was eager to hear about his coworkers' backgrounds and how different people experience different things and the way they live their lives. Boone, as I said, Boone's a unique guy. He says that CDTA is a good company with great benefits, steady work, and you like the seniority structure. You like the seniority structure because you're a 20-year guy now, right? Did you like it when you were the 2-year guy? I don't think so. His spare time is enjoying his family, continuously learning, and he loves to cook at home. Retirement plans, it's another guy we can count on for another 20 years. How old's your daughter?
13.
You can be here for a while. You gotta get her figured out. So we're happy that Boone has given us 20 great years and looking for 20 more, right, Boone? Thank you. All right, where do we go next? We go to the Troy division. John Van Sickle. John, Rusty, I never knew your name was John. He's known as Rusty to most of us. Rusty is a Troy bus operator and has been with us for 25 years. A special one. You requested the book. So the story of Rusty Van Sickle is in that book. Sealed. Hermetically sealed. The great Karnak. Rusty's spent a few years in the charter bus industry, but you have to live like a gypsy if you're going to be successful in the charter bus industry, and that wasn't for him. So he joined our team full-time in August of 1994. He did a stint in Star. I know it's a broken record, but it's important to point out that almost all these guys and gals came up through Star. He then transitioned to a supervisor role for 13 years. He was a street supervisor, worked in dispatch, worked in the control center. Then after that career step, he returned to the Troy division to return to driving. So today's a special day, September 11th, and as you remember the men and women who worked as first responders, I want to commend Rusty and a lot of his colleagues for the work that they did that day, that week, and the following. Here's the story. He was a dispatcher on duty that day. And some of you may ask, did we send bus operators and drivers to ground zero? We did. We did. The control center was in touch with then Governor Pataki's command center. And Rusty and his colleagues spent 4 days there. They slept on cots. You slept on the couch up here. You probably slept in that office in there for all I know. Don't worry, I wasn't in there yet. I was over here, you probably slept in my office.
No, we slept in the, well, on the star floor, and then that very hard couch in the break room.
But basically, what we did is we shipped people and supplies down to Ground Zero, and that went on for a better part of a week. Rusty was telling us that not only was he sleeping on the couch, but he actually got a good end of the deal. There were a bunch of guys and gals up at the ATU convention in Canada, and they couldn't get out of the country. They were stuck there for almost a week. So, for those of you who remember, basically the borders, were frozen. They couldn't get back in. Now, some of those people, in reality, we didn't want to be back.
You guys worked that out?
Yeah, we worked that out. It's that, but we're chairman of the board, but we worked that out.
An extra week, but they were also operators, so.
Yeah, we lost a
Kind of
couple.
helped too.
But Rusty treasures the longevity and the career reliability the company provides. To relax, he enjoys golf, Law and Order, and playing the string bass with his mother's musical group that travels to assisted living and senior centers and senior homes to entertain people who live there. Retirement might be considered first crack on armor here after his kids are growing out of the house, but it's a couple of years off. So in the meantime, Rusty, thank you for 25 great years. Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate it. Phew. Steve Langston, 25 years. I wouldn't have joked with you this morning. Sure you would. I went down to see Steve this morning at about 7 o'clock. We wanted to see the electric bus. Joke with Steve. I kind of interrupted breakfast.
You didn't see me eating breakfast.
It's a big breakfast party.
I heard your shoes, so I got rid of the container.
So we had a lot of fun. Before coming to CDTA, Steve was in the Carpenters Union, which, as you know, is not usually steady work. He wanted steady work. So he joined us in 1994 as a service tech and cleaner in the maintenance department. I got to tell you, our maintenance department's a little bit different. When we talk about career ladder, we mean it. Every manager in maintenance, Steve and his counterparts, started as a cleaner. They can tell you what it's like to work 13. They can tell you what it's like to do the work that maybe no one else wants to do. And they've all progressed up the ranks, and we couldn't be prouder of all of them. Steve is right at the forefront. Talk about a guy who shows up every day, shows up on time, and will do anything. And I mean anything. That you need done, Steve will do it. You want a volunteer for the fall festival, he'll do it. You want something moved, he'll do it. You want him to analyze a bunch of numbers, he'll do it. He is just one of those guys. He's ask questions later, just do it, and we really appreciate that. When asked about his favorite CDTA memory, you're gonna make me, well, you're rubbing it in, I'm just reading this. He replied with his usual smirk, beating the transportation guys at the bus terminal. Some of you may remember, Steve won the superintendent challenge on the rodeo. I think we acknowledged your efforts at the last board meeting, but you could not let that alone. So you're on your own after that. In his spare time, you can call him Mr. Handyman. He enjoys helping his friends with home projects and spending quality time with his construction partner, Justin Gregatis, who works in the Human Resource Department. And any time left over is not for his family, it's first to spoil his dogs, then his family, with any other time that's got left over. So when it comes to retirement, Steve's plans are to move south and enjoy R&R. I find that hard to believe that you'll enjoy R&R, but I know you'll go south. So
Eventually.
after another 10 or 15 years, so give us congratulations for 25. All right, last but not least, sorry, Thomas, this is coming. So So Thomas and I go way back, 25 years to be, and there's a lot of firsts behind Tom's name, or next to Tom's name. So his current title is Director of IT. 25 years ago, there really wasn't an IT department, but Tom was hired as manager of IT. I'm not sure most of us who worked here knew what IT was. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I did. I went back and looked this morning at my Word files. I file everything by month and by date, by year, and I go back as far as 1996. So he predates that. You know, there was no Microsoft Office suite. So he is the guy, really, that IT was built from. Grew up on Long Island, ended up in the Capital Region when he decided to attend graduate school at UAlbany. I was trying to remember, Hofstra? Yeah, Hofstra originally, on the island. He stumbled on CDTA 25 years ago when he was searching for jobs and landed in our planning department, really, with this IT thing. Your background really is in geography, and GIS, and things. Even GIS was sort of like a fraction of what it is today. But basically, you know, he's built this thing along the way. Remember, before 1990, I wrote myself up, before 1997, there really wasn't a need for an IT department. And that, you know, if you look back, is probably been one of the biggest changes, not only in our industry, but in our work lives and our work world. His work philosophy centered around continuous improvement and discovering new ways to improve our business. And I think if there's a calling card for TG, it's that, continuous improvement and talking to everybody in the room and others about ways to accomplish that. He's a good listener, and I think he's helped just about everybody in the room somehow, some way. And his team is really, you know, all these high-profile projects that we talk about, Fairbox, the ITS, any of these projects, you know, he's behind it, he's organizing it, he's structuring it. He's really in the midst of just about everything we're doing. His story that sticks out the best on his 25 years was Y2K. You probably all remember that. He remembers being in our server room at 11:59, waiting for the world to end. And a blast for the past with Chuck Cohen, our then Director of Transportation. Chuck Cohen I'll tell him this to this day, has to be the biggest nervous Nelly I've ever met in my life. So if you tell him the world was going to end, he believed it. So I can imagine what those minutes were like. In 1201, the building was still standing, they both went home. Thomas and his wife Shannon live in Saratoga Springs. They're building a beautiful new home. That's going to be his home through retirement. He's already told me that, although that word is not yet in his vocabulary. He really does hope to retire from CDTA. You have made significant contributions to this company, most of which sometimes go unnoticed and unseen, but I'm telling you, we know that. The IT department is right on your shoulders. We appreciate what you've done. Okay, I'm putting in for overtime pay. That was, yes, we talk about this all the time. I mean, these men and women make this company go. And these stories, are theirs. We have a couple people here who interviewed them and spent some time with them. These words, they're edited slightly. I had to edit some waxments, but ever so slightly to capture what they wanted. Kind of said about that. So appreciate their efforts. They do a great job.
Okay, well, now we'll start the formalities of the meeting and I'll entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jackie. Any objections? I'll say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're going to move, we have the minutes of the prior meeting, which was June 26th of 2019. I hope you've all had a chance to review them. Again, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Dave. Second?
Second.
Mike? Any objections? approved. We'll move on to committee reports. I'll start off with the board operations committee meeting, which was held on August 28th, right here at CDTA. The chief staff liaisons previewed the agenda for committee meetings in September, and as you will hear from the committee chairs, the agendas were quite full, and there are lots of things to report. Carm provided an update on major projects and activities that are underway, everything from the bus rapid transit service on the river corridor to electric buses, expansion of our garages, and installation of new technologies. We set the board calendar for the remainder of the year, made some adjustments to schedules so that we can accommodate the activities of the company. The committee had a good discussion about the direction of CDTA, and I'm pleased to announce that we will begin a strategic planning process in the next 30 days or so. This process is intended to assess where we are, how we're doing, what we want to accomplish. With so much going on at CDTA and in the transportation industry, this is a perfect time to pause and take inventory of our company and prove any weaknesses that we may have and capitalize on our strengths. This process will take several months to complete, and it will include a lot of work from employees, customers, partners, stakeholders, community leaders, and of course the board itself. We will use a cumulative approach, gathering information, constantly asking the question, what are we learning and how does it inform the strategic planning process? We will engage professional assistants to help the board and staff through the process. When we are finished, we will have developed a roadmap for the company with clear goals and objectives and an action plan for implementation. Plan will be nimble and flexible and will serve as a community resource, and more details will follow in the upcoming meetings. Our next meeting of the Board Operations Committee is scheduled for October 16th, 7:45 a.m. here at CDTA. The next committee report is the Performance Monitoring and Audit Committee, and Dave Stackrow will present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 6 consent agenda items for us to work through. The first up is, so the committee met on September 4th here at noon at 110 Waterville Avenue, and the first item up is the approval of a trolley contract. So at the committee meeting, we discussed the growing demand for trolley services in the region, and as evidenced by our expansion of services like electric trolley and Capital City trolley. We issued an invitation to bid to purchase trolleys, and no vendor responded to the IFB. Staff contacted Double K Inc., a prior vendor, on why they didn't respond to the IFB, and they simply indicated that the IFB was missed due to a staffing issue. Since we didn't receive any responses and Double K could meet our specifications, we recommend a sole source contract to Double K Incorporated for 5 years for the purchase of up to 10 trolleys. Staff is also recommending at this time that 1 trolley be purchased for $160,501. Resolution number 26, awarding a sole source contract for the purchase of trolleys, is in your packet, and it is ready for your approval.
Can I get a motion on Resolution 26-2019?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Second, thank you. Any discussion about this item? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Mark? Okay, noted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next up is the approval of a remanufactured engines contract. Remanufactured engines streamline maintenance, reduce unscheduled engine failures, and increase engine reliability. This has become a standard practice for us. An invitation for bid was issued for remanufactured engines, and 2 bids were received. 1 bid was rejected because it was an incomplete bid. Staff recommends a 3-year contract with 2 optional renewal years be awarded to Cummins of Albany, New York. And the resolution to award Cummins Inc. Annual contract cost not to exceed $150,000 per year is ready for your approval.
Can I get a motion on Resolution 27?
So moved.
Jack?
Second.
Second by Mike. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Approved unanimously, thank you.
Thank you. Number 3 is the approval of an engine oil contract. Heavy-duty engine oil is a required fluid for the routine maintenance of our vehicles. We issued an IFB and received 3 bids. Roberts Energy provided the low bid of $103,930. Staff recommends awarding a contract to Roberts Energy. Resolution number 28, awarding a contract for the purchase of heavy-duty engine oil, is ready for your consideration.
Can I get a motion on resolution 28 on engine oil?
So moved.
Mike, second? Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Approved.
All right, thank you. Number 4 is approval of a database administration services contract. Database administration services support our IT applications in the areas of installation, configuration, upgrades, and security. The current contract has expired. A request for proposals was issued and we received 7 proposals. After a review by our IT staff, we found that OATC Incorporated offered the best proposal to meet our needs. Staff is recommending a 2-year contract with 3 optional renewal years be awarded to OATC at an annual cost not to exceed $74,500. There is no increase in price from the current contract. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to award a 2-year contract with 3 optional renewal years to OATC Incorporated of Charlotte, North Carolina at an annual cost not to exceed $74,500.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? It's approved.
Thank you. Number 5 is the approval of a Troy Garage expansion. As part of the River BRT project, we want, and more importantly need, to expand the Troy Garage. An RFP was issued and 2 firms submitted bids. The firms were close in price. Both proposals were less than construction estimates. Staff recommends UW Marks be awarded the contract for this work. The base cost will be $6.13 million with a contingency budget of $1.23 million. MWBE subcontractors will provide 12.6% of the work. Resolution number 30, awarding a contract for Troy Bus Garage expansion, is ready for your approval.
Can I get a motion on resolution 30?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the Troy expansion contract, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
I want to thank the board for being nimble on this one. I think, as you all know, we tried to get this awarded earlier in the summer so that work could begin. So we kind of modified the sort of the order of things. And it was a quick decision where everybody pitched in. The good news is the Marks team is on site. They have started. It gives us a leg up, not only this construction season, but next construction season, where the bulk of the work will be done. But, much needed, in addition to the new space. That garage was brand new when I started here. And really has had some incremental improvements, but is in need of an upgrade. We expect a lot of nice things to happen from an efficiency of workflow perspective. So appreciate that.
Thank you. Last for our approval is a resolution to accept state funding, sort of an easy one. We were awarded federal highway funds through CDTC for work on our BRT corridors. The total value of the grant is $4.63 million. New York State DOT provides 10% of this grant. New York State DOT requires CDTA board approval as part of their contracting process. And at this time, resolution number 31, accepting $463,000 from New York State DOT is ready for your approval.
Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved.
Thank
Very
you.
Dave?
In other committee activities, the audit committee met and Sarah Matrose gave her quarterly report, which included the Davis-Bacon and related audits. And upcoming audits in Sarah's shop will include the Universal Access Billings audit and several operational program reviews. The investment committee will meet on September 18th, and there will be a report from the investment committee that will be released after that meeting. In administrative discussion items, the risk management and workers' compensation quarterly report was provided by Amanda Avery. Our procedures require a quarterly report on the adequacy of the risk management and workers' compensation self-insurance accounts. And the committee did determine that both accounts are adequate at this time. The monthly management report was provided by Mike Collins. Highlights of that: MRT hit the $1 million mark for the first time this year. Customer revenue exceeded projections by 7.2%. Wages were over budget by 7.4% due to overtime needed to cover for summer vacations. Workers' compensation is under budget for the month and under budget for the year. And we paid off our line of credit, which was about $9.5 million, I believe. It was paid in August, and other than for that, we are in a solid financial position overall. Monthly non-financial performance report was given by Chris Desany. That report highlights where total ridership for the month was up 2%. And on-time performance was at 74.5%. The next meeting of the committee is at noon on October 23rd, here at 110 Waterloo Ave, and that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the report. Anybody have any questions or comments about the committee report? Then we'll move on to the Community and Stakeholder Relations Committee report. Jackie.
Okay, thank you. The committee met on September 5th here at 110 Waterloo Ave at 10:45 in the morning, and we had 4 presentations. The first, John Scherzer reported on the monthly onboard writer evaluation results from Fact Finders. A few months ago, we had Fact Finders come and explain what they do, so this was a follow-up to that. Fact Finders staff board buses to conduct random interviews along our routes. There's also an online version of the survey that is becoming increasingly popular. It's interesting to note that there were quite a difference of who reported to what on bus and then on the online version of the survey, and then those that actually chose the online option. The customers respond to questions about satisfaction with their services, their riding experience, ease of payment, frequency of use, etc. The outcome of the surveys allow us to plan better, to effectively communicate with customers, and to assess operational needs. In general, customers are rating our service very highly and provide detailed feedback about different aspects of the operation, our fare payment system, and the way they communicate with them. The second presentation involved Jamie Watson and John talking about our 50th anniversary. The actual anniversary is August 1st, 2020. So they have begun planning for this exciting milestone, and a comprehensive communications and event outline is currently being developed. The third item, Jamie Watson presented an update to the internal communications plan that was recently rolled out to employees. As CDTA grows as an employer of choice, efforts to maximize internal communications has become a top priority for the organization. The plan's contents will help us better position organizational goals and business priorities to employees. It will create a sense of community, trust, and shared commitment among employees and provide more opportunities for engagement and job satisfaction. Last, Jamie Watson summarized the monthly Community Engagement Media Relations Report. Her report highlighted media outreach and community engagement outcomes over the last month. She highlighted several larger stories, which included our new Universal Access Agreement with the apartment development on New Scotland Avenue in Albany, a mid-season CDPHC cycle update, and our seasonal services that further showcase our role as a community and regional partner. The next committee meeting will be held on Thursday, October 24th at 10:45 in the morning at 110 Waterloo Ave.
Thank you.
I'd like to make one comment with the community. As many of you know, last Friday was the Labor Parade in Albany, which was a big turnout. CDTA provided buses to shuttle from the Corning Preserve to the parade route, and also provided trolley for anybody that couldn't walk. And it was transported quite a few people in a short period of time, which is obviously we do very well. But plenty of thank yous and compliments on the service, and I just wanted to mention that, 1321 the locals, thank you for having that service, because it went over very well.
Great, thanks for bringing that up.
Actually, thanks to the guy who coordinates that, you have to do this, Shinar.
Good job. Next, we'll move on to the strategic and operational planning committee report. Mike?
Thanks, Jamie. The committee met last Thursday at noon here at 110 Waterville Ave. There were no consent agenda items. We did have 2 administrative discussion items. The first being the BRT construction update. Ross Farrell gave an update on the construction of the River BRT. As previously discussed, the River BRT is being assembled in a phased manner which began last year. Phase 1 was completed in 2018 and consisted of construction of 8 stations. Phase 2 is underway and involves 13 more stations and is scheduled to be complete by the spring of 2020. Site work involves signal, curb, sidewalk, ADA, and Q-jump build-outs. Expansion of the Troy Garage has also begun. Phase 3 will be complete in the fall of 2020. On the Washington Western BRT, the relocation of the Crossgates Mall station and the new Harriman West station were reviewed. Also, we received an award for the Larkin Washington project from the Institute of Transportation Engineers. So, Carm, congratulations to you and staff on that recognition.
Mainly the plan.
Great job by all. Garage expansion planning was discussed. Ross once again gave an update on planning activities for garage expansions necessary for service additions. The reason for expansions were reviewed along with the pros and cons between an incremental and consolidated garage approach. Conceptual design for Troy, Schenectady, and Albany were presented. There is a need for temporary bus storage and off-site employee parking. We are pursuing options to possibly lease land at 45 Industrial Park Road or purchase the Bachman building across the street. Appraisals have been conducted and we are in conversations with landowners. We will likely be coming back to the board for approvals as the agreements take shape. The committee did go into executive session. A pending legal matter was discussed. No action was taken. Our next meeting will be Thursday, October 24th at noon here at 110 Waterville Ave. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions about the committee report? We'll move on to the CEO report. Kyle?
Thanks, Jamie. I think as evidenced by the activity in the committees, we are at a pretty busy time right now. A lot of projects and work activities. There is certainly more work to be done than sometimes hours in the day, but I'm not sure the majority of the staff would have it any other way. As Dave talked about, our financial condition is very good after the first third of the year. A lot can happen. Still have 8 months to go. And a lot of it depends on things like the mortgage tax and things like customer revenue being sustained. But I think our trend lines look good. And we know that when we orchestrated the budget this year, it was a struggle. It was a struggle because we had some added costs that we knew we had to take care of. So I'm really pleased with the work of the entire organization to get that budget moving in the right direction. No doubt that most of our excitement around here is being caused by electric buses. The report says the first one will be here in a few days. Well, there's one here. It's in our garage. You can't really go very far because the charging part of the project is a little behind the buses. It's not off schedule, just a little behind the buses. Buses came a little quicker than we thought. The bus came a little quicker than we thought. The other 3 are a few weeks behind. If you have time today and you want to see what it looks like, you kind of get a glimpse too of the charging component, how it is very different. It's very different to get a bus shipped here. Normally our buses are driven here from the plant, but you can't drive an electric bus when you don't have reliable charging stations along the way. So this is very, very different than charging a car. Actually, it's very, very similar, but different in that you can't use the same technology. So more to follow on all that. Staff is putting together all kinds of plans on how we want to pilot this, the things that we need to get out of it. We've got some professional assistance from engineering company who does this for a living rather than us just doing the pilot on our own. But there will be a lot of questions. There's a great deal of interest. We're going to need to show these vehicles to the community. We want to show them to our funding partners who are also very interested. But as we all know, there's a little issue with price, so we're going to need a little help if we want to engage in more than before. So all good stuff, all great things. It's an emerging part of our industry. As Dave has talked to you, from the national perspective, lots of electric buses in other parts of the world. Not so many in our country, and frankly, not so many in the Northeast. This is the first electric bus in upstate New York. We're proud of that, and we want to make it work, and I know we will. CDP-HP cycle, I've tried to keep you up to date with some emails over the summer. The program is just amazing. Week after week after week, we break the ridership records. With more than 2 months left in the riding season, we're over 26,000 rides. We should get to 40. John's telling me it might go higher than that. We have 11,000 members, 11,000 people who, have, given us their credit cards and are regular members and regular users of the system. Really, the secret here is just a lot of good work. Intelligent system design, good station locations. I think where we're locating the stations is smart, takes into the needs of the community, our needs. A lot of good staff work that you may not know or see or hear about behind the scenes with operations. And a solid partnership with CDP-HP. They've been great to work with. They've gone over the top with their promotional efforts. And I think the icing on the cake is the expansion of universal access into the bike program. For instance, Troy, the city of Troy, on a ridership count last year was dead last, and to the point where we're saying, what are we doing wrong here? Why aren't we generating more rides? We incorporated RPI into the program through the Universal Access Program. They're now second on the ridership list. So more to follow. There are some issues that we need to work out, but it's a hit. It's a success, and we anticipate continuing to build. During the last week of August, we implemented a number of minor changes to the fixed route system. This went pretty well. It's almost like clockwork. We have a whole process of notifying our employees, notifying our customers, notifying any elected official who in their community has a route that's going to be changed, even slightly. We make sure we contact. We have found through experience that elected officials can be your best friend in this process, but what they don't like is surprises. So we let them know what we're doing. A lot of these were increases in frequencies on routes and route segments that required more frequent service. That's good news. And it's really been our calling card that sort of differentiates us from small, mid-sized systems. We're operating buses on 10, 15, 20-minute frequencies regularly, whereas many systems our size consider 30 minutes to be good service. Frankly, here 30 minutes is, for a trunk route, unacceptable. A lot of that good work is called for in our transit development plan that Russ Farrell has talked about a lot. The transit development plan will be aligned with whatever work we do strategically in the strategic planning process. There'll be I'm sure long discussions about that, long discussions about facilities, long discussions about workforce development, things of that nature. I think we've covered the River Corridor BRT line, but don't blink. That is now under construction. And you'll see signs of that. Visible signs in the near future. Mike talked about Crossgates Mall. I think you talked in your report. Ross gave a report. If you're at Crossgates, take a ride by. If you know where our boarding center is, it's sort of right in the middle of the mall, off of Western Avenue. About 100 yards, literally to the east, you'll see this massive slab of concrete where the new station will go. But it'll also have a dedicated bus turning area. It's going to be for buses only, and I think it's going to not only improve our circulation, but make the whole transit, car, pedestrian crossing program, walking program, a little safer, isolating pedestrians, cars, and buses. That's a good thing, and a lot of good work for our guys and gals. Headcounts are in pretty good shape, as evidenced by the trip cut numbers. We're back to our historically low number of trip cuts, and we're gearing up for what's coming ahead. This past week, there were class of 7 graduated and went into regular service. And Monday, we welcomed 15 new people to training. And first week in October, will be another 50. So we're gearing up to make sure that we're not low and for all the services that we anticipate. At the same time, we're filling maintenance positions, cleaners and technicians. And I sent you a note on this, the management staff, we're just like everyone else right now. It's tough to find good help, and it's tough to keep people. We've had a lot of people come and go. I don't think there's anything to worry about. Most of the people who are leaving for to be better opportunities. We take pride in that, and we're bringing in good people to replace them. But it's at a pace that's a little different than what we've seen historically. So hats off to Kelly and her gang in HR. It's nonstop action down there, in addition to all the other HR things that happen. And I'm excited to work with the board and the rest of the staff to kick off a strategic planning process. We haven't done this here at CDTA, so we're going in eyes wide open. But as Jamie said, I can't think of a better time to do a reset. We've got so much going on. I do get asked a lot by people inside and outside the organization, so where's CDTA going? And I can articulate it, but I really can't, back it up with this is the plan, these are the 5 pillars. And I think Jamie and we have had several discussions. We don't want it to be an academic exercise. I know no board member knows that. We don't want this to be an academic exercise. We're going to be very careful not to make it an academic exercise. But you have to have a roadmap. And we have to have something to pass off to the people who follow us so that the roadmap is clear and easy to identify. I've been talking to one company, one person specifically, who's very good at this, very experienced, Barbara Gannon, very experienced in our industry, and I think Barbara would be the right person to help us. She's already sketched out, the first 5 steps. So we'd like to devote the board retreat, which normally is in the month of November. We've started to swap some dates around and sort of get Barb zeroed in. This is going to require a lot of outreach, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of patience. Not only do we have to put our 2 cents in, but we've got to talk to our community. We have to talk to community leaders, elected officials. We all think because everyone says they support CDTA that they support our direction. We need to hear that, and we need to talk to them about what the mobility options are. What are the impacts of scooters? Where is the autonomous vehicle market? Where is what are the benefits of cleaner technology, and how might this help us in the region? What's going on in the region that we ought to be paying attention to, and how are we paying attention? So I think eyes wide open, but I'm pretty confident that this is the right thing for us. Hats off to Jamie and the rest of the board for saying, hey, listen, I think it's time to pay attention to this. So all good. Pat, you sure you're ready for this? I know you're.
Good.
There we go. Community engagement activities. The Caslo machine is at work. Real Men Wear Pink kicks off. Real Men is really Jamie and her gang. We raise a lot of money for the American Cancer Society. And we do this because our employees like it. They love it. So we build on it every year. There's a whole bunch of shops set up. You can buy shirts and hats. If you like long sleeve tees, I think that's some really attractive ones. So there's a commercial for you. Another Caslo special. By the way, Jamie Watson. Jamie was Caslo before she was Watson, kind of a nickname. 5th annual Fall Festival will be here October 4th. stop by. It's sort of a community day where we bring in, I don't know, 500 school kids. If you like little kids, it's a great place. If you don't like a lot of little kids running around, it might not be a great place. It's a lot of fun. So think of your family times about 105. I know Dave's really happy about this, but so are we. The APTA annual meeting returns to New York. That took a lot of work by a lot of people. Dave can tell you those horror stories if you want, but success. New York City will be the home for the APTA annual, and will showcase not only what goes on in New York, but what goes on in New York State. So if you, several we've already signed up, it's October 13th through 16th. Feel free, I'm sure, to ask Dave any questions about what's going on, but I got a glimpse of the agenda. It's packed. If you can't find something that you like there, sort of like New York City, right? You can't find something you like in New York City. Something's wrong with it.
It's the Transform Conference,
Sorry, Transform Conference.
formerly known as the annual conference.
It is the annual gathering. And it's fun too to see people that are in the industry, make a lot of friends and acquaintances over the years. And also the NIPTA Fall Conference is November 12th to the 14th. It also will be downstate. It'll be in Terrytown, Westchester County. And I got a glimpse of that agenda. That is full of a lot of good things. A lot of our staff people will be going down. Some of our staff people are presenters. And Dave is a presenter at one of those sessions. So, NIPTA's come a long way in the last 20 years. The educational component at NIPTA is very impressive. So if you want to take a look at the agenda, grab it online. If you want to attend that event, just let us know. The activity list is pretty self-explanatory. We talked about so many new people coming and going. In general, that's a real positive thing at the end of the day. But the next few months are going to be even busier than the last few. New boarding center we talked about across states. We commissioned the electric buses. And PRT service is only a few months away. So get ready. A little note at the end over the summer. These are numbers now that I'm starting to struggle with. But I celebrated my 38th anniversary at CDTA. So when I started here, the Troy Bus Garage was not quite a year old. There was no IT department. The maintenance garage was pretty dark because that's just the way it was. It was painted dark. The lighting was dim. Lance and his gang had changed all that. Finance was done. Finance was done at the time by a guy who was a chain smoker and had 2 stubs for fingers because all he did was hit the calculator. He never looked at the calculator. I never understood how you could do the budget and you never looked at the numbers. It scratched to me and scragged it. It comes from practice. A lot has changed. Thanks for a great ride. That concludes my report. Little blast from the past.
Well, congratulations on 38 long years.
Thanks, Jim.
Keep going. Any questions for Carv in his report? If not, then, yes, Mark.
I had a question about the Cross Gates project. I had a bus transfer experience at Cross Gates. I figured out a way to get to the airport from about 1 block from my apartment by transferring from the 114 to the 117 at Cross Gates. And I waited for the 117 to come. Bus came, I got on it, he said he was going the other way, and that the bus going the right way would be there very shortly. I didn't see it because of the congestion of buses there. That's an issue at that location, also at the Empire State Plaza on Madison, and on State Street by the Hilton, if that hotel is still a Hilton. So that kind of congestion is a problem that we should be trying to minimize. Second, some of the buses were sitting in the area where the buses would pick up passengers, or idling for an extended period of time, and also blocking the other buses, contributing to the congestion. So that's something to look at.
Yeah, the idling is an issue. We try not to idle for more than 5 minutes. In fact, you're not supposed to idle for more than 5 minutes, but, that's sort of a decision the driver makes, so if she thinks it's another minute, I'd let it idle. If it's gonna be longer than that, they're not idle. But we'll look at that. Let's take a quick peek at that. But we'll look at all of these projects are meant to ease on the congestion, as I hate to say it, make congestion a little bit more organized. And every one of the locations you talked about is on the list. Save the Hilton area, I think I'm giving that list.
Yes.
Jamie, I just want to mention, because I think we're supposed to, the Transit Board Member Seminar and our attendance at that. The Board Member Seminar for Acton was held in January. Jamie, Pat, Denise, and I attended along with Jamie Watson. July, I'm sorry.
Beautiful day.
July. It was cooler in Jacksonville than it was in Albany, New York, when we were in Florida. So they brought cooler weather for us. But I want to thank everybody who did take their time to be there. That seminar is designed specifically for board members. So all of the agenda topics are about finance and governance and advocacy, things that are hot topics for all of us at the table. A big part of that is not just the sessions, but the opportunity to network with board members after the sessions. And I know we were all engaged. I want to thank you all for taking your time, but we are supposed to mention that we attended these things, state controller requirements, I think. I appreciate your time. I hope you got a lot out of it, and for anybody who wasn't able to go, we will be, I believe, in Salt Lake City. And the date will be a little bit later. It'll be the first few days in August next year. But a great opportunity for board members to be educated and also to interact, to hear what's going on in other parts of the country and in other systems. So, thank you.
Thank you. It was an excellent conference. Yeah, I think
For
we
a new guy, it was
got a lot out of it. Yeah, I really enjoyed the sessions, and I wish I'd been there a little bit longer, so I wouldn't have gotten delayed in DC on the way back, maybe. But it was a very good conference.
Thank you. First pitch?
What's that?
Nothing about the first pitch?
No, nothing about the first pitch. That was great. That was forgettable. Forgettable.
Okay,
That's good.
wasn't a strike apparently.
Well, it was on the bounce, yes.
I watched Big Poppy throw out the first pitch the other day. He wasn't even close to it.
At this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to enter into executive session to talk about a contractual matter. It's a pending litigation. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So,
Second.
We just need Amanda.
Thank you, everyone. The time is now 1:30. We're moving back into public session. I had discussion about two items. The first item is Resolution 32-2019, authorizing and approving a settlement of a contract dispute. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. Any discussion about this matter? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Everyone in favor of Resolution 32, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Any abstentions? It's approved. The second item is Resolution 33-2019, authorizing an employment agreement with the Chief Executive Officer. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second by Mark. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. Any other comments before we adjourn? I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.